Dear students, welcome to the Sanskar Gurukul International School. I am Giri of your maths faculty. In the last session, we have started different types of sets. Under those, we have already discussed the empty set. Now we are going to discuss the remaining sets like non-empty set, singleton set, finite and infinite sets, equal sets, and subset, and proper subset, and power set, and also universal set. Now let's see the non-empty set. Non-empty set. Non-empty set defines that it is a set, it has at least one element is called as a non-empty set. For example, the number of boards in the classroom, the number of plants in the garden, the number of students in the classroom, all these comes under non-empty set because we have at least one board, at least one plant in the garden, at least one student in the class. So that's why these statements are comes under non-empty set. Next one is singleton set. Singleton set. Singleton set is a set. It has only one element. Then this set is called as a singleton set. Suppose the set has A has 3, element 3. How many elements it has? Only 1. Suppose a set A is defined as x such that x is a even prime number. Even prime number. Here this statement gives only one number, that is 2. Because x is an even prime number, we have no more even prime numbers except 2. So that's why the set A has only one element. This is a singleton set. Now let's see another example for this. Suppose A is defined as A is equals to x such that x minus 3 is equals to 4. This is also a singleton set because for x minus 3 is equals to 4, then x is equals to 4 plus 3. Now x is equals to 7. At x is equals to 7, then A comes under singleton set because x minus 3 is equals to 4. This expression is satisfied at only one value, that value is 7. So that's why yes, A is a singleton set. Next, finite and infinite sets. Finite and infinite set. So we can easily define these two sets because in the terms only we have the definition finite and infinite. Finite means just countable elements, infinite means uncountable elements. Now let's see the definition of finite set. A finite set is a set. It is a empty or definite number of sets, then it is called as a finite number of sets. Suppose a set has empty or pi, it is also a finite set because there is no element, so we can define that it is a countable. So that's why it is a finite set. Suppose a set has 2, 3. So here this set contains how many? This set contains no element, 0 elements. Then this is also a finite set. It has 2 elements, so this is also a finite set. So that's why the definition of definite set is a set is a empty or definite number of sets. Empty set is this is also finite set and definite number of elements. So 2 and 3 here 2 elements. So it is comes under finite set. So we have some more other examples like the number of days in the week, the number of hours in a day, and the number of months in the year. All these are comes under finite set. Infinite set means a set contains infinite number of elements, then it is called as a infinite set. For example, the set of natural numbers, the set of even numbers, the set of all prime numbers, all these are comes under infinite. Like natural numbers is equals to 1, 2, 3 up to so on, and like integers also minus or minus 3, minus 2, 1, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 up to so and down. All prime numbers suppose 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 up to so and down. All these are comes under infinite. Some other examples also we have. Suppose if I consider a line, I consider a line. This line formed by joining set of points, set of infinite points. We can extend this line up to here. We can extend this line. So the number of points on the line also comes under an infinite set. And one more is the number of parallel lines which are parallel to the x-axis. The number of lines which are parallel to the x-axis. This is y-axis. This is x-axis I consider. Now the parallel lines of x-axis I can draw lines. Parallel lines. So we can draw the parallel lines infinitely. So all these are parallel to this x-axis. So that's why the number of parallel lines to the x-axis also infinite. So these also comes under an infinite set. Next we have one more set, that is equal sets. Equal sets. If two sets A and B are said to be equal, if every element of A is an element of B and every element of B is an element of A, then the two sets A and B are said to be equal. If the two sets A and B are equal, we write A is equals to B. If the two sets A and B are not equal or unequal, we write A is not equals to B. We can understand in a better way with the example. Now A is equals to suppose 2, 4, 5 and 7 and B is equals to 5, 4, 2 and 7. Here we can clearly say that A and B are equal sets. That means A is equals to B because A has 4 elements and B also has 4 elements. And in both the sets, these 4 elements are same. So that's why A is equals to B. Now, if you take one more example, A is defined as 3, 7, 4, 11 and B is defined as 7, 11, 4 and 8. If you observe here, A and B are unequal sets. It means A is not equals to B because here A has 4 elements and B also has 4 elements, but the elements are different here. Here 7, 11 and 4 are same, but 3 and 8 are different. So that's why A is not equals to B. When A is equals to B, if every element of A is an element of B and every element of B is an element of A, then only A and B are equal. Here B is not in a set, 3 is not in set B and 8 is not in set A. So that's why A and B are unequal sets. For example, if I consider set A is defined as set of all prime numbers less than 6. B is defined as set of prime factors of 30. Now A is defined as all prime numbers less than 6. So 2 and 3 and 5. These are the prime numbers less than 6. And set B defined as set of prime factors of 30. Now B is equals to prime factors 2, 3 and 5 only. If you observe here, the number of elements in both the sets are equal and same. So that's why A is equals to B. Next we have subsets. If every element of A is an element of B, then A is called the subset of B. So we can denote this A is subset of B. The definition of subset is if every element of A is an element of B, then A is called the subset of B. We can denote this A subset of B, or A is contained in B. And if at least one element does not contain B, then A is not a subset of B. We can denote this A is not subset of B. Now we see some basic important points here. Every set is a subset of itself. That means suppose set A is subset of itself, means A is subset of A, and pi is also a subset of A, and if A is equals to B, then A is subset of B and B is subset of A. And one more, if A is subset of B, B is subset of A, then A is equals to B. Based on this, we can conclude that A is equals to B if and only if A subset of B and B is subset of A. And one more important point is, if A is subset of B and B is subset of A, then B is subset of C, then A is subset of C. These are some important points relating to the subset. Now let's see the proper subset. Proper subset. Proper subset. Let A and B are two sets, and A is subset of B and A is not equals to B. Then A is called as proper subset of B. Proper subset of B, and B is called superset of A. Superset of A. So the definition of proper subset is that A and B are any two sets, and A is subset of B and A is not equals to B, then A is called proper subset of B and B is called superset of A. In the example, you will understand in a better way. Suppose A is equals to 1, 2, 3 and B is equals to 1, 2, 3 and 4. So take the condition here, A and B are sets. A is subset of B, here 1, 2, 3, B is 1, 2, 3, 4. It means every element of set A is an element of set B. And A is not equals to B, here 3 elements, here 4 elements, A is not equals to B. At this time, A is called as proper subset of B and B is called as superset of A. Now, we have few more sets we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.